Everybody, we are back. It is Taped On Live, favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at @DMarkJohnNFL, at PDWilliams18. And of course, plan the supplements. Use TDL for 35% off. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get those, get some good protein. So get some of those greens, get some of that focus. You got it. So go ahead and get to pandasubs.com for that. All right, guys. So Raiders got the first win of the season,
Yes,
30
sir.
3. Definitely still some little bit of inconsistency from the offense and from the defense, but I mean, they still were able to make some big plays today. I thought they had explosive plays. I mean, like big plays. Like the Amik Robertson play was huge. That was a huge play in this game. Um,
Yes.
you know, big moments, and of course, Josh Jacobs had a monster game. He definitely had his opportunities to when he finally got the ball got a lot of touches today, and he made the most of those opportunities, man. And he had some special runs. I thought he had the one run, his long run. I don't even know if the blocking was good on that. All I saw him was spin, right, break 3 tackles and go for 42. So I mean, man, that was a special performance from him. I thought he's been like that all year, and I think he finally got his opportunity to to kind of show that. And they stuck with the run. A lot, like I said, Broncos play more too high than I've ever seen them play. So um, against any other team, so that was interesting. So they're just offering, they're like just run the football on us. So
Yeah.
did. So what you
You
thoughts about
have to you have to run the ball against those teams that go too high because so much of their scheme is predicated on getting it done, stopping the run with a light box. And if you get them out of those things, right, then now they're not in their wheelhouse, they're not in their comfort zone. And you can pass the ball when when you need to. But yeah, Josh Jacobs obviously it was needed. It was sorely needed. They finally didn't have like the whole the game situation didn't call for it. That bogus excuse.
it? Yeah,
Something that you brought up, so I'm going to give you a lot of credit for this. Something that you have brought up for a few weeks now is running on first downs and then not running at all on second downs. And they ran on second downs in this game. They were some of their best runs were second down runs. It seemed definitely the most efficient, right? So those runs, I think, definitely help set the tone because so many times those plays through the first 3 weeks were just like incomplete passes.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And now it's like 2nd and 7 or whatever it is, right? So way better to bring up 3rd and 1s. Now we can really get into our bag, and get into our playbook here. But when you have so many 3rd and longs, how much are you going to be able to do? So the second down runs, huge change, obviously a philosophical change, and we saw it bear its fruition here.
yeah. Offensively, we finally start to see Adams and Carr have a little bit of a connection. It's some back shoulders, and they actually got those looks because Josh Jacobs was having a good game. So they started to get those one-on-ones with him and Surtain, and on first down, and they were able to get some big plays downfield because they got those looks. But they really didn't double team him a lot. I thought they put Surtain on him, and that's where they're able to get the ball a lot. But I mean, Surtain had some good plays too. Man. He definitely
So,
showed.
that was a heavyweight matchup.
Yeah.
Sertan is going to be regarded as the best corner in football pretty soon here, if not, by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, that guy is a dog. He's incredible. He was even the catches that Devontae Adams made, it was like he's all over him. So yeah, that was a tough. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, they're doing like a little TikTok thing and Devontae Adams gets interviewed and he, gives some credit to Patrick Surtain because he was definitely making him work for it.
Yeah, you can see it live, man. He was giving him that. It was like Adams would win one, and then Surtain would win one. So they were going back.
Right.
It was pretty special performance, even for Surtain just to hang with the Devontae Adams on some of those routes that he's hanging with them on. I mean, the third down when they got the field goal, the second field goal of the second half. I mean that on the little hitch route, man, he was all over him. I mean, Adams still made that catch, and he only got 4 yards, but he kept him from being a first down because he was all over him. So, it really showed how special he is, man. That's a dog over there. He's a good player.
So. Let's talk about the offensive line real quick. It looked like someone got hurt in the middle, and is that what happened? Mumford came in for Illuminor at some point.
Yeah. Mumford came in there for Illuminor. They're still doing the rotation thing. But the other four, I think they played the whole game. John Simpson was a healthy scratch, but they are running the ball better. If you want to say anything, they are running the ball better. It's just on third down, they're still getting a lot of pressure, and that's what's happening. Is just the third down pressure is still there, and the 2 sacks are on third down. You know what I'm saying? So the run game is a lot better at this point. If you want to give some props to Alex Barrs there, but I think there's still miscommunication there sometimes. There are a couple times they're doing some audibles, and Derek Carr was checking the things, and then get some guy runs free on a rundown, and they ended up not. I don't know what happened there, but they ended up kicking a field goal on that one too. So there's still some
Right.
communications there with the offensive line, which is a big issue. So they got to pick their five because the AFC is real close. All these teams are 2-2. There's not a lot. There's not really a team that's like taken away. It's besides the Chiefs right now, but it's still so close. They got to figure out this offensive line real quick, just to get these guys on communication wise, so they can get some continuity and play together.
I completely agree with you. The only thing that I'll point out about the offensive line was like you said, they are running the ball better. So if that's what the configuration that they're trying to figure out, if like that is the goal of it, is to just get the best five out there who can run block, and then they'll try to scheme around the pass blocking deficiencies. So as long as Josh Jacobs is getting the carries, you know what I mean, and they're going to run the ball on second down and stuff like that, I'm good with that. Let's flip over here. I want to talk about Amik Robertson. He's getting some love in the chat. I definitely think he had a little bit of a breakout game, probably his best game as a pro. There was obviously the fumble that fell right into his lap. Fantastic return, man.
Like he should return punts, right?
He should be a specialist. They probably hadn't even had him out there. You know what I mean? He probably never even caught a punt. They're probably thinking about it now. Like, wait a minute, we got a guy here. That was a great return. That's the best he's looked on the football field as a pro. But he also had some stops coming up, making some tackles. So we saw him there. But at the same time, at some point I might break it down. I don't know how quickly I'll do it, but at some point in the season, you'll see it. There was at least 2 huge plays that he gave up, and also that touchdown down the seam. I think that was also on him as well. So he gave up his share of plays.
Yeah,
I want to shout out Jerry Jeudy. Okay, shout out to Jerry Jeudy, man.
Okay? He got the ball today.
He caught the ball. Well, he caught the ball on that first one, that big one to Amik. And did you notice he gave Amik like the little put his arm down, like you're little, right? He gave him that little hand motion or whatever. And Amik was jawing at him. It unlocked something in Amik. Please, let's call this guy small every game. If that's what the result that we're gonna get, unlock something in Amik, please. Yes. So shout out to Jerry Jeudy for that one.
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy put that small thing out there, which I didn't even understand. He didn't moss him or anything, so it was super weird that he did that. I was like, okay, yeah, he fell, but I don't know. What's that to do with you?
Jerry Jeudy fell too. He should have been a walk-in touchdown. Jerry Jeudy got sniped, just tripped for no reason.
Yeah, he's trying to concentrate on catching it, bro. He's trying to concentrate, make sure he brought it in. But so what are your overall thoughts on the defense? So Max Crosby had his huge game. He had 2 sacks. He's finishing this year, so he looks like he's gonna. He's on pace for a high sack number right now. So, what do you think of the defense overall?
I was sad to see Denzel Perryman go out early in the game. Do we know what the injury is there?
Concussion. Yeah, concussion.
So got a concussion. Yeah. So that little discouraged to see that, honestly. But when he was out there, you saw the defense making those stops, getting those 3 and outs because he's all over the place. He's gonna, and even on one, it was like 3rd and inches, and he didn't get the stop. The running back still gained enough yardage there, but incredible run fit, and just that might have been the one that he got a concussion on, honestly. But I thought that defense definitely took a step up when Perryman was in. I'm a little worried about Trevon Merritt. Where is he at? They got a huge touchdown, 1st and 25. Russell Wilson just heaves the ball down. It's a prayer. Trevon Merritt, if you're that guy, you got to contest that one. So I'm a little confused about Trayvon Merrick. He hasn't made an impact at all so far. I know that he was injured for a couple games, but he's back in the lineup here, and he's still we're not really seeing much from him. So a
Yeah.
little discouraged there, I would say. But Hobbs seemed like he played pretty good.
Hmm.
Deep, but really the biggest thing on the defense was the pressure, getting after Russell Wilson. So that defensive line, I think they did a solid job. Obviously, Max Crosby got the stats here, but I definitely saw, and I'll probably break it down at some point. Definitely saw Chandler Jones making contact with the quarterback, forcing balls to be errant and
Yeah.
incomplete, bring up a fourth down or something like that. Even though it might not be a stat there for Chandler Jones, but I think the defensive line did pretty well.
Yeah, I thought Chandler Jones got held a lot. I mean, he's beating Garrett Bowles so much. Garrett Bowles had to basically hug him so many times. So he's causing us a lot of holes. So I thought he actually played well, even in the run game. He played pretty well. Even mixing with Max, I mean, they really stopped the run, which kind of puts the Broncos kind of out of the offense, in my opinion, because a lot of what happened with the Broncos, they got good field position most of the game. So when they were asked to actually go down the field, they really only scored once. In desperation, and Russ was just doing Russ. So, you just can't allow those guys to get open. I mean, they let KJ Handler kind of just split them, and they can't let that happen late in those games. But I thought they played well overall. I think stopping and running as a team was important. They did that, um, you know, basically from what I saw. But they were able to kind of control that, force some turnovers, get a defensive touchdown, the first defensive touchdown in 3 years. So they definitely helped win this game. So it was definitely a full effort. Even in special teams, Matt Collins made some big plays in special teams too as well. So definitely a complete game. So let's see how they take this going forward. They got the Chiefs. They're going to Arrowhead next week. You know, let's just hope they go out there and play tough. Don't get embarrassed. That's all I want.
Yeah, yeah. Before we look ahead, talk to the fans, the audience, the TDL audience about going into the Raiders locker room. I saw on Twitter you had a little clip up there talking to Josh Jacobs after the game. What was the atmosphere like inside the locker room?
I mean, it's just they're happy inside the locker room. A lot of joking around. Usual locker room. When you get a win, everybody's happy. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's talking, slapping hands. Slapping family. Families are coming in. People are hugging people. Everybody's happy. Everybody's not down like a loss. So, I mean, that's definitely what you want to see in the locker room. And you can tell, they really like each other. There are a team that's together because a lot of those guys that were there last year are still here. So they really are still kind of a team that really is really close. You know what I mean? So you can definitely tell that when you're in that locker room, though. But you got a little bit of Josh Jacobs interview, so I'll definitely post that in a second. But um, Josh Jacobs definitely was kind of the standout in offense. I think that in the passing game, it was kind of inconsistent a little bit there, but Derek Carr, he was able to rush for 40 yards, so that really helped. He had that big third down run. So when we're talking about before the show, I mean they're playing a lot too high, and he's got to start running. They're playing 2 man and stuff like that. He's got to he's got to go. So
Yeah, yeah.
third one, he just kind of went, and he didn't even think about it. So
I thought that this was a great game for Derek Carr because it was so balanced. First of all, offensively, it was so balanced. They ran the ball so much, right?
yeah.
But then in those instances where it's like, okay, we got to get the ball to Devontae on the outside. You got a one-on-one. You got to go there, even though there's a premier corner out there on him, right? You saw him work those. They definitely won more than they lost on the outside.
Yeah.
And then when it was time to deliver the ball to other guys, I know that the stat line isn't crazy, but that was a very efficient game from Carr. If you had to pick something out, if you had to nitpick, what are you going with?
I mean, just kind of like just the inconsistencies, I guess. The accuracy and stuff like that. I mean, you still see that a little bit, but I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. He's not turning the ball over right now. I guess it's kind of like the message, and that's kind of how he's playing. He's playing to turn the ball over, which I mean, you could take it 2 ways, but I want him to be a little bit more aggressive, basically. I mean, just kind of rip it, but you could see that sometimes when he was doing that to Adams, and he had a good throw to Waller as well. So late in the game, you definitely saw him continue to be aggressive, and even the run. I think the run too was aggressive as well, kind of just taking off and just taking that chance, not trying to go through your reads and trying to make a player in the pocket. You see that opening, you see it's too high, you see everybody's gone, and nobody's really paying attention to you. Just go. So, you see that aggressiveness late, but you just want to see it more all game. But I understand it because I know Josh McDaniels probably just ripped him week 1. I bet he just ripped him alive. This is basically he's not he doesn't want to turn the ball over, which he hasn't really
Since then, yeah.
games. Yeah, so
The what about the play calling in the second half? You know, when the Raiders had a lead, did it seem like the play calling got a little conservative, or what was maybe some of the reason why the Broncos were able to get back into it?
I think they got away. I think they got away from the run game. They try to do some play actions, which I understand, but some of the routes you call play action, like a slant, things like that. You don't see a lot of slants to play action. I thought that was a weird call. If you usually when you do play action, you want to take a shot. I mean, if you want to take a shot
Post,
at that
yeah.
point, yeah, that's fine. Off the play action, take a shot, maybe do some, but I guess it's more West Coast stuff. But they have shot plays like that in their play action game. So they want to do like they have a route called a beeline, which what I'm saying, they could have like a post right there or something. You want to take a shot that way, that's fine. And I understand that. You're running the ball really, really well. I mean, those shot plays are there, but you're calling play action. You're doing like a 5-yard slant. I don't see the point of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but there were some good play calls. I liked how when they had Josh Jacobs and Zamir White on that last run. I know a lot of people don't like that toss play, but the reason
I
why
love that play.
right, the reason why they did the toss is because the last time they ran it, they gave the ball to Jacobs.
Yeah,
So basically, everybody was crashing on Josh Jacobs. He talked about that after the game. Everybody was crashing on him, and he was able to get that ball to Zamir White, and Zamir White basically was about to score. I thought he was about to score.
yeah. I thought he was about to take off for sure. I thought it was going
yeah,
to be a bigger run.
yeah,
The
yeah,
the reason why that play works so well is because if Jacobs is the all the way back, right? If he's like the far back,
yeah,
then everyone's going to key him, like you're saying, right?
yeah.
So put the rookie back there, and half the defense is going to sleep on him. They're going to be like, "Oh, they got some rookie back there. It's probably not even going to go to him." Right.
Yeah.
So that's why that play worked. I think that was a smart play. I really like that play actually. What someone said, this is interesting. Maybe get your thoughts on this. Yeah, the onside kick. I like the onside kick. I like the onside kick.
Yeah.
First of all, it shows that they were aggressive. Okay.
Mhm.
It shows that it's sending a message to the other team too, like saying like we don't really respect your offense that much
Yeah.
inadvertently, so it's gonna, potentially like maybe get inside the other team's head, and to have done that and then get out of the game with a W, it's great because now all these other special teams units are gonna have to spend some extra time going over on, a little extra time going over onside kicks and things like that. They're gonna have to prepare for this going forward because Raiders just try to, a random onside kick in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess my thing with it is just they couldn't move the ball down the field the whole game. So it became like a field position thing. Like I know it was aggressive, and I mean they almost got it, or they should have got it, but Masterson was watching everybody get hit, and then he wasn't watching where the ball was going, and he lost the ball, but and ended up getting it. But it was more about a field position thing because they weren't able to move the football. Like their first touchdown, they got the ball like the 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they got the ball again deeper down the field, and they weren't able to move the football. So that's why I thought it was a little different kind of approach. But you're right on the kind of the aggressiveness and kind of sending that type of message. But if they can't go all the way down the field on you, which they didn't do all game really, they didn't go down the field really all game. I mean, they had like basically one drive where they went down the field and scored. It was all from their position, right? So that's kind of my mindset with it. Like, let's play the field position game with them a little bit and make them go all the way down the field and make them actually be a productive offense, which I don't think they really are. So,
yes. And we did see Russell Wilson have some good throws in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw him also try to extend, which we knew he would. So that's why the Raiders were able to get that pressure on him, cause him to, take some sacks because obviously the coverage was doing well enough in those moments. But I will say, I'm so happy this happened. When they really needed it, probably wouldn't have, even if they did, end up scoring or something like that, it probably wouldn't have made a big difference. But they were attempting to, stage a comeback, and Russell Wilson throws it to that back, and he's wide open. He beat Abram. It's like a second reaction play. Abram had maybe covered up at first, but then it's, Russell Wilson breaks out of the pocket. This back turns upfield, and he drops it. So, and I talked about this in the preview. They drop a lot of passes. So for it to happen, like when they needed it most, for them to drop it, I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do this. They do this.
yeah, and just like they fumble a lot, man, over there. Those
Yeah.
running backs fumble. Javonte Williams fumbles a lot, and then we got the big fumble from Melvin Gordon, who fumbles a lot throughout his career. Especially, I mean, that's something that he always does. So right to Amik Robertson, and he gets that crazy return he had, man. So that was a big play, and they need big plays like that to win. To win, especially by 2 possessions like they did in this game. You got to have big plays from everybody. It's got to be a whole. The defense got to make plays too. I'm saying so. The offense made plays, defense made plays, and that's what they won. So, but Josh Jacobs definitely get the game ball for me on offense. I mean, I thought he just balled and actually got his chance to show how he's been looking all year. So,
Yeah. He did a great job. He looked really sharp this game. You're not going to find too many backs right now in the NFL that are playing at a higher level than Jonathan Abram, or I'm sorry, than Josh Jacobs. Sorry, I'm seeing the comments. People are talking about Jonathan Abram in the comments, but yeah, Josh Jacobs, he's playing at a really high level right now. Raiders got to ride him all the way,
yeah,
but at the same time, we know this happens with Jacobs. The injury bug will rear its head a little bit.
yeah,
So we'll see if they keep on working in Zamir White. Maybe this is, you know, predicting a little bit of the future. Seeing this Zamir White carry right here in this game, maybe
yeah,
we'll see. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of him coming forward.
yeah. I think one thing I like about Jacobs though too is that he's getting involved in the pass game too, and making the most of some of these checkdowns he's getting and getting some yards, getting some first downs out of them. So he's becoming like an all around running back at this point. So that's kind of you like to see the growth from him and him actually excelling in this offense. And uh, I kind of feel this is kind of be how they're going to play going forward a little bit because I mean it's week 4. You always talk about the first 2 weeks of the NFL is kind of the NFL's team trying to get to know each other. That's why you don't want to start 0-3 because you would have win a couple of those games because you would have kind of get
Yeah,
to week 4 and on where teams that have the tape on you and they kind of figure out what you're
right.
so the Raiders they're facing all this too high. They're facing all these looks. I mean, they got to run the football. So I think we're going to see a lot of that going forward. Hopefully, I mean, if this, the coaching staff, always talk about adjusting. They got to adjust to how teams are playing them. They've been talking about that all week. We kind of saw that this week. They got to continue that because you want these teams to bring that safety down. They bring that safety down, then that's when they get ripped apart. I mean, that's basically how it's going to look. They bring the safety down, they get ripped apart, and that's how it has to work. And then, I mean, Derek Carr, he's going to have to keep using his legs if they're playing too high and they're all backing up. Then he's got to use his legs because that brings the safety down too. And they got to maybe keep a linebacker in there to watch him or something like that. They got to kind of work off how this game and offense went to keep going, and maybe they can beat teams just how they're playing them.
Completely agree with you on that. I like the brand of football that they're playing. Clock control, the long drives, and just the physicality that they're trying to impose on both sides. I think that they definitely out physicaled the Broncos today.
Yeah.
Broncos aren't the most physical team ever, but Titans definitely the most physical team that they've played so far. That they were punching each other the entire game. Like that was a really tough game. So I think seeing that the way that they were able to put this one away against a team that's not as tough as them, and I think yeah, they're finding their identity slowly. It's not happening as fast as we would have liked, right? But they're finding their identity. I agree. I think that this is going to be the way Raiders win games going forward is going to be like this. What we saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, as I'm saying, it brings the safety down, and then they could do so much more of this offense. Then Adams gets more one-on-ones. It just works out better for everybody. So.
Yes. With the weapons that they have, I think a lot of teams are going to be installing a ton of too high looks throughout the year. So we'll see about this. I think the second down is where McDaniels is trying to catch teams right now.
Yeah.
So we saw him run it on second down, but we'll see if he goes back to passing it thinking like, oh, okay, I know what look that they're going to be in. I think I can, I think we can get one. I think we can steal one here. We'll
Yeah,
see if he sticks to running it on second downs. But it was effective this game.
yeah, for sure.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about, man, before we get out of here?
No, man. Nothing really. I think we're pretty much good. And any last thoughts from you?
No. Good to get a dub. If this is what happens when you go, we got to get you there every week.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I didn't go as a fan this time, so I couldn't get excited. I mean, I
Yeah.
almost got kicked out when Amik Robertson was breaking those tackles. I was calm, but then when he broke that second tackle, that's how he's about to go.
You're like, oh, compose, hold the composure.
Yeah, man. When he broke that second, I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, hey.
Yeah. We got to get a little donation, a little fund together. Each week, TDL audience sends Marcus to a game. Hey, look. I'm saying if this is how it happens when you go, then
Hey,
you got to go every time. Then
yeah, man. Yeah.
we'll work on it. We'll get that. We'll get that working out one of these days.
Yeah, and I saw a couple people, some fans of the show out there. So definitely, uh, nice meeting you guys. Some dope stuff. So yeah, man. We out of here, man. I think we're good. I think we're
That's
good.
it. That's it.
All right. Make sure you guys subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL, at BDWilliams18. Pen us up. Use TDL 35% off. We're out. Peace.
Peace.